Thank you, Madam Chair. I have an amendment at the desk.
The clerk will read the amendment, report the amendment.
Amendment number 4, offered by Mr. Weber.
And I ask unanimous consent to dispense with the reading without objection, so ordered. I recognize the gentleman for 5 minutes to explain his amendment.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This amendment reinstates the sunset for funding provided under this legislation. I so appreciated the gentleman from Pennsylvania, Connor Lamb's comments earlier when he said programs weren't meant to be funded forever. This amendment supports the original intent of Congress when we established this program. We provided finite, and I emphasize finite resources to fund manufacturing capabilities for industry to develop new technologies. But once technologies matured, industry was intended to take the lead. Now, I'm willing to consider reauthorizing this program for a defined 7-year period, but isn't it our job as an authorizing committee to wisely allocate federal research dollars in the long term? And we cannot do that when programs are authorized in perpetuity. Some of you will remember that Ronald Reagan said the closest thing on earth to eternity was a federal program. So we want to be careful with that. And by the way, at the end of this 7 years, Ed Perlmutter would be 73. Today's his birthday. So we want to wish him happy birthday. We know that industry has the skills and resources to commercialize new technologies. I'm going to pay for that. But they often lack the tools and facilities needed to develop groundbreaking technologies. So while it makes sense to invest in the kinds of capabilities and tools provided by these manufacturing innovation centers, eventually industry needs to step up to the plate as each area of technology becomes more mature. With finite dollars, again I emphasize finite, we cannot support new research programs without winding down old ones once we reach those technology goals. If we fail to provide an end date for a program's funding, we throw a wrench in the research cycle and could actually both eliminate industry's motivation to bring these new technologies to the next stage and inhibit DOE and NIST's ability to enable innovations in new areas. A sunset provision also forces us, that's Congress, to do our job here and regularly reevaluate the legislation we enact to make sure programs are all still operating effectively as well as efficiently. In fact, the original sunset provision is why we're holding a markup today on a bill that includes a number of important bipartisan reforms and improvements to the original legislation. We're making those technological changes. We're amending it. We're making it better. I think regularly revisiting and updating our work is a good thing. I believe by adopting my amendment and including a sunset after a 7-year period, we take a responsible approach to investing taxpayer dollars while retaining our ability to change course within the constantly evolving technology landscape. So I want to encourage my colleagues to wish Ed a happy birthday and